Hello and welcome to Guides.Global. My name's John Howell, and with me today I have Başak Yıldız Orkun, who is a lawyer practicing here in Turkey. Başak, welcome and thank you for coming.
Hi, John.
In this video we're going to look in a little detail at the way the legal system works in Turkey.
Okay.
And before everybody falls asleep, because it isn't the most exciting of topics, I think it really is important to understand how the system works if you're going to be living or working or doing business in Turkey.
Absolutely agreed. So,
and I suppose the first thing we have to say is, does the system in Turkey actually work?
I can just talk about this for hours, but if I need to recap, yes, we have a settled system. We have proper codes, but as we are still developing, we might have like on and off changes in our legislation. So you have to keep yourself up to date.
Yes.
And also in terms of like timing, it is a little bit more hassling than the Europe, I have to say. But yes, we have a system and
yes.
it is working. We still have lots of things to do, but we have a proper system.
But in some countries in the world, they have truckloads of laws, but if a problem happens, if you're a foreigner, you have no chance of getting justice. That is not true in Turkey, is it?
No, actually, we don't have that separation. You are a foreigner or a Turkish citizen, it doesn't make any difference. It's just being a person. So there might be some like administrative details that you need to follow up if you're a non-national, such as you have to provide a Turkish address. Yes. In your petitions,
yes.
Blah, blah, blah. But they are just administrative
yes.
steps.
And none of them difficult.
No, not at all.
Okay, so we'll take it that the system works and therefore it's worth going and listening to a little bit more of this video. The next thing you've mentioned already is that Turkey is a country where you pass an awful lot of laws, don't you? Every day
yes.
There are 3 or 4 new laws passed about some aspect of life in Turkey.
Correct. I think because we adopted our codes from different countries of Europe. And as we are now having our own like a system, so it needs a lot like adoption, I mean, in terms of like a legal system, we come across with some needs, and then we have to adopt our codes in that in the sense of that need.
And a few years ago, there were gaps in the system, things that no one had thought about, and therefore they just weren't covered. And now, gradually, all those gaps are being filled.
Yeah, there are always gaps in like a law.
In every legal system in the world, there are gaps.
This is why we are here.
But there were some great big gaps before.
We don't have that big gaps, and because of this practical life, I think our codes are becoming very simultaneous with the practical life.
Okay, so let's go back to the basics. Turkey, when you became a republic in 1923, you adopted basically the French legal system.
I would say French and other. Our civil code is adopted from France.
Yes.
But our criminal law from Italy.
Yes.
I mean, our law of commerce is from Germany. So it is like a mixture of Europe, I would say.
And of course, the Italian code was also adopted from the French code.
So
it all comes back
to
Napoleonic law, Roman law.
This
is a civil law system, and
Correct.
anyone who's familiar with the law in France or Spain or Italy will immediately be familiar with and comfortable with the way the system works here.
Yeah.
Turkey, as we know, is a country that is a Muslim country in terms of the religion of its people, but the legal system is not in any way an Islamic legal system, is it?
No. We haven't adopted anything from Sharia or Islamic law.
Yes, and even with the proposed changes that are being voted on in the next few weeks, I don't think anyone's suggesting that Turkey is suddenly going to become a Sharia compliant country.
That would be a major difference, and I wouldn't really expect that.
Yes. So watch this space, but we are expecting Turkey to continue to have a European-based legal system and a functioning legal system that goes into the future.
And we are secular so far, and I think we will keep to be secular.
Okay, now let's move on. The legal system is broken down into bits, and in Turkey you have several different sections of the law, don't you? For example, you have the criminal law and you have the civil law. What other areas of law do you have in Turkey?
Yeah, actually we have two main separation. The first one is the civil law, as you mentioned, and under section of civil law we have like a law of commerce, the family law, the immigration law, like most of like private dealings are under the section of civil law.
The laws of obligations.
Laws of obligations, so on.
Yes.
Correct. And on the other hand, we have administrative law, and including tax and administrative courts, really, basically, and it is against to the government process. So yeah, and also the criminal law, of course, which is related to public.
So basically, the criminal law, I think everybody understands what the criminal law is, so we won't waste time talking about that. The civil law is almost everything else. It's family law, it's disputes, it's all of these things.
Correct.
And then on the side of that, you have administrative law, and the administrative law is basically about problems you have with the government. If you don't like some order that the government has made.
Yeah, and also, as I said, as criminal law is part of it because all crimes is related to the public.
Yes,
so
yes,
yeah.
yes.